Hello, everybody. Welcome to That's Football. We're back with win, lose or draw and our Premier League predictions. I'm back. Robbie's back. Football's back. And Angie's back. Robbie, and he's going to be playing against you. How was your break? And are you as excited as I think we all are to have some proper football back?
Yeah, break was good. I was over in Algeria, and big up to everybody I met over there. You know, they was doing this big conference where lots of African nations were talking about. It wasn't particularly a football conference, although I was speaking about football and the creator economy. But that was really great to meet so many people out there, so many football fans, unbelievable. And I'm very excited to have football back. I watched the international games. Good performance against Serbia the other night by England, but the Premier League is back. So many. There's another break in October, another one in November. It's a bit mad at the moment, but it's good to have the Premier League back, and I am looking forward to the games at the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Also, Champions League back next week as well. So we're going to get a good few weeks of football before. I like this one because you come back and there are games midweek as well. So it's busy. Obviously, the big game of the weekend is the Manchester Derby. We're going to start there, but I'm not going to dismiss the fact that Arsenal start it all off with Forest and the return of Ange. But let's start off with the Manchester Derby. Also, win, lose or draw. We'll go into it in a moment, but I can tell you that it's 15-14 to Robbie. It was a draw 11-11 last time, but we didn't have a particularly good week. We'll go through that in a moment, but it's still very, very close. But there's some big ones to call this week. Manchester City, Manchester Derby against United. They've had their worst start to a Premier League season since 04-05, Man City. 2 losses out of 3. Could it be 3 out of 4, Robbie? What are you thinking about this?
I think it could be, seriously, because they've got a lot of injuries, Manchester United as well. Manchester City. I see that Mamouche picked up an injury, and that's a big one because he's been very good for Manchester City. And they're just not firing on all cylinders at the moment. You can see that. There's, Haaland's doing Haaland. He's doing really, really well, but the rest of the team's not quite. They've got some new players like Reinders, and that's all got to find their way. Cherky's out injured, and it's just not, something doesn't seem to be clicking there. Now, we've seen this before with Man City, and they've come back and they've done really well, but I don't know, this time it feels a little different. Like, I know it's still early in the season, but they're just not looking themselves right now. Not how I thought they'd be this season, because I thought they were going to do really, really well. So, and they still could do, but at the moment I'm edging Man United, because Man United, they've actually played quite well. You take the Grimsby game out of it, they've played quite well in quite a few of the games, and they do sometimes find a way against Man City. They don't really have this big fear factor that a lot of teams have. So I'm edging Man United for this game.
It reminds me of before the bloody international break when I said Arsenal at Anfield and you said draw. Obviously, we think none of us got that right, thanks to a worldie by Szoboszlai. But I'm going to go with a draw. I just can't see Man City losing 3 out of 4. But I also think it's a game, incredibly, where I would say I wouldn't be happy with a loss, even though I would never be happy with a loss. But I think Man City are always favourites. But I agree with everything you've just said. I think there is a vulnerability. We saw it with Spurs. We've seen it with Brighton. They have got a couple of injuries. Of course, they're good enough to win the game. But I think if you keep Haaland quiet, and United's best thing has been their defence. Yoro and De Ligt have started the season well. Keep Haaland quiet. Be competitive in the midfield, because obviously they've got Rodri. And I think you will get chances. So I'm going to go with a score draw in that one. And if it is, I don't want to be seeing bloody the media or the radio stations doing Amorim tactical call-ins. They should be saying Pep out, because that would be 2 losses and a draw in his first 4. And I just think, before we leave City, Robbie, I firmly think Pep should and did want to go in the summer. And I just think they've thrown the money at him and there's no one else. Because I just think we're in a new territory with Pep, aren't we? We're just so used to him doing a job and getting out like he did at Barca and Bayern. And it feels like at City, he sort of fell into a bit of a mistake where he's got to rebuild something, which he's never done. And fair play if he does it, but this is uncharted territory for Pep. He sort of does look a bit lost.
Yeah, they've lost the fear factor at the moment, right? Normally you go into Man City, you're pretty scared. You know what I mean? But they've lost the fear factor. I look around their squad. They've got a very good squad, but you're not scared of that squad. You're scared of Haaland at the moment. You know, obviously Rodri's to get back to being his best because of his long-term injury. But it's factors like that have meant that they've lost a bit of the fear factor. You look at the defense, you're like, that can be got at. They've got a brand new goalkeeper. What's he going to be like? You know, well, 2 brand new goalkeepers. You know, a lot of the staples that they've had over the years. You know, Edison. You know that De Bruyne's coming for you. You know, and players like that. Those players are not there at the moment, and not writing off the new guys, but they've got a while to go until they're going to get to those levels. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to go with a United win. I think United. I've got a feeling players like Mbeumo could get joy in this game. You know what I mean? If Amorim, the defense is good, and then you get the ball up to players like that. You know, I know that there might be no Cunha, but you might have Bruno Fernandes back in his position that he's actually best in. So I'm edging a United win.
Get me excited now. Let's go to the 12:30, the proper return of the Prem. Don't forget, actually, we've got Bundesliga tonight. If you want to tune in, Frankfurt Leverkusen. I think it's the other way
that's
around.
A good game.
Yeah, looking forward to that. To be honest, I'd watch any game tonight. I'm just want football back, but it is a good game. But the start of the Premier League kicks off at 12:30. You will be there, Robbie. It's your team. You're returning from what I think was an unfortunate loss to a worldie last time at Anfield. But you're playing Forest, who are decent, but then you throw into the equation that bloody hell, Ainge is back. You know, I just don't get my head around this. It's just such well, I'm first on it actually, aren't I? Because you did that derby.
Yeah.
I don't get my head around this because it's just such a contrast of playing style between Nuno and Ange. No preseason, no transfer window, just typically erratic ownership. And I actually think Arsenal will batter them. I think it could be like 3 or 4-0. And I actually don't think it would have been that if they had Nuno, because they're well organised. I don't see. I think this is probably one of the worst games you would want as a Forest fan to if with Ange in charge. You wouldn't want this sort of a game because he's going to go open. If he can't really defend, and Arsenal are a good side, so I'm going to go 3 or 4-0 Arsenal. I think it was a mistake by Forest to do what they've done.
We actually beat them 3-0 last year at home as well with Nuno, right? So, you know, I remember that. And I think that was after an international break as well. And they didn't look that great that day, even though they would have been playing really well. I don't get the big Ange thing either. I think, you know, Nuno was doing a great job for them, you know, and, you know, look where Nuno took them from. He took them from like rock bottom to nearly getting the Champions League.
Yeah.
And it's a weird one. And, you know, big Ange, a lot of people are talking about, but, you know, look how he left and, you know, he won the Europa League and that, but they're forgetting he lost 22 games in the league last season. In another season, that's relegation for them. They got lucky, Tottenham. They didn't get relegated because the other teams below them were so bad, right? And now you're bringing him back straight away like he's some top manager because he won the Europa League, you know, which was basically, you know, that was between Man United and Tottenham from the start of it with the quality of players they had. I don't get my head around this one. I don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to go gun-ho? I really don't think he can, right? And I get the feeling what he's going to try and do is go really defensive like what he did in the Europa League final. But I still think we'll beat them.
And I would say on that, Robbie, you will beat them because we still created chances in the last 20 minutes and we were crap in that game. So, you know, Arsenal are used to playing a low block, especially at the Emirates.
And now, you know, we see a debut for players like Eze. Remember, these is not playing. I mean, this is their first game at the Emirates.
Yeah.
Players like Eze is going to be buzzing for this. I'm going with an Arsenal win as well. Good stuff.
We just before we do that, actually, we'll just go through the scores. So we went into the week, the third game week is 11-all. As I said, it finished 15-14 to Robbie, but there is a bit of a story there. Arsenal, Liverpool, neither of us got that because Robbie said draw, I said Arsenal win. Chelsea, Fulham, we both said Chelsea would win on that one, although Fulham were robbed. Sunderland, Brentford, we both went with a Sunderland win. Wolves against Everton, neither has got that. You said Wolves win, I said draw. Very good win for Everton it was.
Was.
Leeds, Newcastle was the differential. I said Newcastle win, you said draw. So that put you 14-13 ahead. Brighton against City. You said City. I said draw. Obviously, Brighton won.
Great win.
Forest, West Ham. Both got that wrong. Both said Forest. That was a good win for West Ham. Spurs, Bournemouth. Surprisingly, you did say Spurs win, and so did I. So Bournemouth won that one. And then Villa, Palace. We both had Villa. And again, there were some good wins last time out in the, especially when you look back at Bournemouth and Everton and Brighton and Palace. So that caught a few people out, I'm sure. But it did end up with that Leeds point. You predicted 15-14 to you. So you've got a point lead going into this week. We're back with you, back with the 3 o'clock kickoffs then. Let's go through these. Crystal Palace, Sunderland.
Palace for me. It'll be too strong at home for Sunderland. Sunderland are going to do all their best work at home, I think. But for me, Palace. Yeah,
I'm going to go Palace. I agree with you. I think it's set up to be. They've apart from Eze, they've got a good squad, and I think, like you say, Sunderland are going to focus on the road. Bournemouth, Brighton. I think this is. I don't know why this isn't more of a derby. There seems to be Brighton Palace, but I think this is a really hard one to call. Brighton had a really good result against City. Bournemouth had a good result against Spurs. It's a hidden gem of the weekend, so I'm going to go with a draw.
I'll go with a Bournemouth win. Even though a draw's a good shout for it, 2 really good sides. But I'm going to go with, because they're at home, I'm going to edge Bournemouth for this one.
Okay, we've got, I'm right in saying next, Everton against Aston Villa.
Oh, it's a good one, this. I'm going to go, oh, sorry, you're first on this, isn't it?
No, I did Bournemouth, Brighton.
All right, I'm going to go with a draw here. I thought Everton, a good win last week, and then their first game at home against Brighton, I thought they were very fortunate to get that win that day. They got peppered by Brighton. And Villa, though, they've got to show something. That's the reason why I'm thinking they've got to, at some stage, because Unai Emery as well has had a terrible start. They've got to show up. So I don't think they'll win. I'm going to go with a draw.
Villa, Everton, draw for Robbie. I am going to go with, I just don't know. I don't know. Everton have started off well. I can't go with the draw. I'm going to go with the Villa win. I don't know why. That's not great. That's dodgy, but I'm going to go with some of these away wins.
Listen, Emery, he's got to start winning some games. He's going to be under pressure.
Yeah.
I've seen this is the same thing he did at Arsenal in his follow-up season. Just missed out on the Champions League for Arsenal when we should have actually made it. Lost the final to Chelsea, right? And then started off the next season after that horribly and got sacked, right? He's got to get himself together. And it's been tough for Villa because they've lost players and they haven't been able to really buy players in.
Should be doing better, though, shouldn't they, really?
Yeah, definitely.
Some good 3 o'clocks. Fulham against Leeds is me. I think Fulham were very unlucky against Chelsea and played well against United in the second half in their first game at Craven Cottage. So I'm going to go with, Fulham to win that one.
Yeah, me too. I think they're Fulham at home. They're a very good side, very strong, good manager. For me, got to go with them.
Newcastle Wolves is you, Robbie?
Newcastle. I know they haven't won a game yet, but I think this is the game that I look on almost like I shouldn't say a banker, but it looks like one. It's a very tough place to go to, and they've got a couple of new signings in. The whole Isak thing's over now. Wissa, Voltamed. Is it Voltamed? Is that how he pronounce it? But they're going to be up for it. The Geordies 5:30 kickoff. I wouldn't want that to be Arsenal going up there for that game. No, so I'm going with a Newcastle win.
Yeah, I'll go with Newcastle as well. Funnily enough, I've watched all their games, and I think with the striker, they'd be in a much better position. So this is where I think Newcastle start moving through the gears now. West Ham against Spurs, interesting one. I'm first on this one. I'm going to go with the Spurs win. I don't know what went wrong against Bournemouth, apart from Bournemouth are a good side. I don't think West Ham are good. Although they did have a good result. They had a very good result.
That was a shock result against Forest.
Yeah, I'll go with Spurs win.
Tough place to go to. I don't know. This is such a hard game to cook. Before that Forest game, I'd have said all day long, that's the Spurs go out there win easily. But West Ham kind of one of them momentum teams. Like, if they get the fans behind them, it could be a tough old place. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a draw in this game.
And then 8 o'clock on Saturday night.
8 o'clock.
I know. If you're going to put it on 8 o'clock, you've got to be a better game than this. Brentford against Chelsea. A Saturday night ruiner, unless you're a Brentford or Chelsea fan. You're first on this, Robbie.
Yeah, listen, Brentford. Sorry, man. I'd love to see Brentford do it, but I can't see them beating Chelsea. Even though, like you said, Chelsea got very lucky in that game against Fulham, but they do have the quality to hurt teams like Brentford. I don't see how Brentford are going to win this. Yeah, Chelsea win.
Yeah, I've got Chelsea easy on that one, and you're right. They've had a good start to the season. United next week. Obviously, Arsenal got Man City next week, haven't they?
We got Man City next week. Then the week after that, Newcastle away, and then that kind of completes the difficult start that we've had to the season. But that's Man City at home next week. That's why City. Imagine if they did lose to you guys, then they got to come and play us. I mean, Pep really would be under pressure, wouldn't he?
Bloody hell, yeah. 4 out of 5. Final game. Oh, I said Chelsea, didn't I? Yeah. So final game is Burnley at home to Liverpool, where I'd be stunned if we don't both go for the same one on that one. I'll let you go first, even though it's probably me, because I'm
Burnley win all day long. Burnley. Yeah, no, I'd love to see that, but no chance, man. Liverpool. I think Liverpool very easy will win that.
Are you worried about their start to this? I'll go Liverpool, by the way, just to get it on record. Are you worried about their start to the season? You know, obviously you played them. It's a great goal. They've got 9 from 9. They've got Isak in now. They're playing Burnley after an international break. You know, it's looking good for them at the moment. Some Arsenal fans have been a bit downbeat. Are you, or do you think it's just waiting?
Listen, they've got off to a great start without even playing that great, have they? I mean, should have lost to Newcastle. Newcastle got out of 10 men. They managed to scrape through that one. And then again against us, for much of the game at home, not at their best. We nullified them, and they still come out on top in that. So you got to say that they're playing like champions at the moment. But it's a long, long way to go in this season. But at the moment, they're looking really good, and it's going to be really interesting to see what Isak does for them. I do think, though, and I say this all the time, and that includes us, includes you, everybody. Everybody looks great at the start of the season when you've got your starting 11 and everybody's rearing to go and that. But it's when the bumps start to come. And I think with Liverpool, particularly with the bumps will be at the back. If anything happens to Van Dijk or something like that, not getting Gay in. I think that could be even more key, because if we know Liverpool got great firepower that they could get by with, but if anything, say, happened to Van Dijk, that could put them on some shaky moments. So, but at the moment, they're off to a brilliant start. It's a perfect start, isn't it? So,
yeah, I mean, we're both old enough to remember titles for Arsenal and Man United respectively, and I remember many a season where we didn't start well under Sir Alex. So I look at Liverpool and go, they haven't started well, but they've got 9 from 9. It's good, but what we are dealing with, as you've just said, is a season where injuries and the intensity of the game, they're not going to avoid injuries. So that will be interesting, because Arsenal have had a couple already, Chelsea have had a couple already. Liverpool will get them, and it will be about how they adapt to that, because they've lost two goal leads in them first 3 games. Obviously not against Arsenal. So look, but yeah, Burnley ain't going to be a problem for them, but I think it's going to be very interesting. I think Arsenal will win on tomorrow, and as long as they're in this, they've just got to stay in touch with Liverpool, and then there's a title race, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks everyone for tuning in as usual. Thank you very much to Robbie for coming back and getting involved. We're back on Monday on DR Sports, where we react to the weekend. But in relation to win, lose or draw, it's 1 point gap going into this weekend. So get your predictions in below. Remember, we've got this big forfeit coming up in May. Long way off, but don't want to get that gap getting too big. Don't want it to be over by Christmas. Got to keep it like Arsenal. Got to stay close. Got to stay close to him. Thanks for coming on, Robbie.
Cheers, man. Have a good weekend.
Don't forget, we're live tonight with the Bundesliga and lots of stuff over the weekend as well. And of course, don't forget, check out AFTV tomorrow. They've got the first game and Robbie will be there reacting to it. Speak to you all in a bit.
Nice one.